Welcome to the Athletics of Indiana podcast. Today, we're going to talk about how Indiana football is building on its absolutely massive 2024 season. After that incredible run, Coach Curt Cignetti is not sitting back and relaxing. Nope, he's hitting the transfer portal and hitting it hard to reload this roster for another shot at the playoffs. We're going to break down exactly how the Hoosiers are rebuilding their offense with some of the best talent in the country. Let's get into it. First, let's just set the stage, right? An 11-2 record, that wasn't just a good season, it was a program-defining, historic season. But that kind of success, it creates huge expectations. And with some key guys leaving, the pressure is on to stay at that elite level. So the big question is, how do you keep that momentum going?
Well, the answer, it seems, is by absolutely dominating the transfer portal. And this isn't just about plugging a few holes. Indiana has pulled in the number 17 ranked transfer class in the entire country, according to 247 Sports. This is a deliberate, high-level talent grab designed to keep the Hoosiers right in the middle of the national conversation.
So here's the game plan for how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with the big picture strategy, reloading, not rebuilding. Then we'll meet the new quarterback, the new field general. We'll check out the totally revamped backfield, see the new weapons in the passing game, and wrap it all up with the big guys up front who make everything go.
Okay, so this is the most crucial point to understand. This is not a rebuild, it's a reload. After a season that had them in the college football playoff hunt, Coach Cignetti is using the portal to bring in guys who are experienced, who are proven, and who can make an impact from day one. The goal is crystal clear. Get right back to competing for a title.
And the sheer scale of this is just massive. We're talking 23 new players coming in, the number 4 class in the absolutely loaded Big Ten Conference. And that last point, that's the real kicker. 14 of them are already on campus for spring ball. That tells you everything you need to know about the urgency here. They want this new group ready to roll for 2025. Any reload like this has to start at the most important position on the field. With Curtis Rourke gone, finding a new leader under center was priority number 1. And boy, it looks like they found their guy. So let's meet him, Fernando Mendoza. And listen, calling him a cornerstone addition is not an exaggeration. Coming over from Cal, 247 Sports had him ranked as the second best quarterback available in the entire transfer portal. This is an absolutely huge get for the Hoosiers. Now, here's where it gets really, really interesting when you look at the numbers. Yeah, 3,000 passing yards in a season is great. But look at that last number, 41 sacks. He was running for his life behind a shaky O-line at Cal, and he still managed to be incredibly productive. So you gotta ask, what could this guy do with some actual protection? And that's exactly the bet Indiana is making. You take his quick release, his ability to move, and you put him behind what should be a much, much stronger offensive line. Well, that is the recipe for a superstar. He has all the tools to not just be a great leader for this offense, but to be a legit all-Big Ten candidate. Of course, even the best quarterback needs a running game to lean on. And with guys like Justice Ellison and Tyson Lawton moving on, Indiana didn't just find replacements. They went for a total overhaul to create a truly dangerous 1-2 punch in the backfield.
So out goes Ellison and Lawton, and in come 2 proven playmakers. You've got Roman Hemby from a Big Ten rival in Maryland and Lee Beebe Jr. from UAB. This is a very strategic mix of speed, versatility, and pure power.
Let's start with Roman Hemby. The best way to describe him is right here, a dynamic, all-purpose back. And man, that is the perfect description. He's not just a runner. He's a true weapon who can hurt you in a bunch of different ways, which is exactly what you need in a modern offense. And you can see that versatility right in the career numbers. I mean, over 2,300 rushing yards is fantastic, but it's what he does as a receiver that makes him a real headache for defenses. 112 catches for almost 1,000 yards. That's a guy you have to account for on every single play, whether he's in the backfield or split out wide. And then you pair Hemby with his new partner in crime, Lee Beebe Jr. If Hemby is the Lightning, Beebe is 100% the Thunder. Just look at that top stat, 3.83 yards after contact. That means he's a bowling ball who's just constantly breaking tackles and grinding defenses down. You put these 2 guys together, that is a formidable duo that will wear teams out. So,
We've got our QB, we've got our dynamic backfield. What about the guys catching the ball? Well, the goal here was simple. Add more big play firepower and give Fernando Mendoza a deep, reliable group of targets to throw to. If you want to know what new receiver Micah Jackson brings to the table, you only need to look at one number, 16.2. That was his average yards per catch last year. Plain and simple. When this guy touches the football, he's creating explosive plays down the field. He's exactly the kind of deep threat this offense was looking for.
And think about how he fits with who's already here. You've got your returning star, Elijah Sarrett, who's a fantastic possession receiver. Now you pair him with Jackson, a guy who had 12 catches go for over 20 yards last season. For a defensive coordinator, that's a true pick-your-poison nightmare. Who do you double team?
Indiana also got really smart with how they handled the tight end position. They brought in two different types of players. First, you get Riley Nowakowski from Wisconsin. He's your gritty, veteran blocker with great hands. Then you add Holden Stays from Tennessee, a former top recruit who's an athletic freak and a major red zone threat. You get the best of both worlds in one offseason.
Finally, let's be real for a second. None of this, the star QB, the dynamic running backs, the explosive receivers, none of it works if the guys up front can't block. This is all about protecting that investment and paving the way for the whole offense to succeed.
And the effort to beef up the line starts with a guy who's coming home. Khalil Benson started 17 games for Indiana, had a quick stop at Colorado, and now he's back. He brings instant experience in leadership and is expected to just plug right in and lock down the right side of the O-line. He's not a question mark, he's an answer.
So the strategy up front is pretty simple, but it's brilliant. You take your solid core of 3 returning starters, and you mix in 3 experienced transfers from huge programs. Benson plus Zen Michalski from Ohio State and Pat Coogan from Notre Dame. That is a recipe for a tough, physical, and very, very good offensive line.
Which brings us all the way back to the biggest question. We've gone through it all. A new star quarterback, a thunder and lightning backfield, new deep threats, and a rebuilt offensive line. Is this massive influx of talent enough to get Indiana right back into the college football playoff conversation?
Look, the bottom line is pretty clear. What Indiana has done this offseason shows that last year was not a one-year wonder. By absolutely mastering the transfer portal, they've positioned themselves to be a sustainable contender in the Big Ten. All the pieces are here on offense to not just repeat last year's success, but to take it even further in 2025.
And that really just leaves us with one final big picture thought. What we've just watched Indiana do is a masterclass in how to build a team in 2025. And it makes you wonder, in this new era of college football, has the transfer portal officially become more important than traditional high school recruiting if you want to build a true championship contender? It's a question every single program in the country is wrestling with right now.